Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, the podcast about music, news, and interviews. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here today with our new friends in the Forecast. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Go ahead and tell everybody your names, what you do in the band, and a little bit about the Forecast, I guess.
I'm Shannon Burns. I play bass and sing.
I'm Dustin. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Tony. I play drums.
No singing.
No
No
singing.
No singing.
We gave him a mic one time, and that didn't go well, and then just never had a mic ever again.
Is that a thing with drummers? Like, you want to give the drummer a mic, but then if you do, it's like a major risk. You're either Aaron Gillespie, or it's like, we got to take that mic away.
Yeah, the mindset was.
I was gonna say, I have negative Riz, as the kids say. There's nothing there.
That's how we know Tony's the one on TikTok. We found your band through doing the album reviews for When We Were Young. We just kind of were like popping on all the records that we had heard and talking about how much we loved them, probably. And then we were, of course, listening to all of the bands that were new to us. So obviously, like, I had heard of the Forecast. I was saying because I went to school in Monmouth, Illinois. Being from Peoria, Illinois, it was just a name that like got around in downstate Illinois. So when we listened to the record, the first thing we had to say about it was, holy shit, this record is fucking incredible. And I'm so mad that I just found out about you guys in 2024, year of our Lord, and never listened to you guys back in the day when I was in college and everyone was like, you got to check out this band from Peoria. So I wanted to at least start off with like, tell me a little bit about that record, why you chose it for When We Were Young, how it came to be, and The Shadow of Two Gunmen is the one that you guys are playing there, and all that kind of stuff.
I think how that kind of came to be. I mean, it's like probably our most well-known record. Has has the most streams anyway. So I think that's kind of why we picked it. It seemed kind of fit with the time too. It came out in 2006. So it just kind of felt right for the fest. So yeah, that's kind of how we got there with that.
Shannon. I think Shannon and I did some crowd testing on social media. We kind of both posted saying which album would you rather hear us play in full, and I said, I'll bet you in The Shadow of Two Gunmen wins, and she was like, no, it's going to be self-titled, and I was right.
He was right. I was rooting for self-titled, but In the Shadow is a good record too.
Huh. Well, I'm glad for it because I love that record now. It's been on constant rotation since we listened to it this summer. It's my summer record right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was something that really stood out. I think because it is in that more like alt country vein where, one, we were like, oh, this is an interesting pick from When We Were Young Fest, but alt country is so big right now and it's starting to grow even larger. So I'm wondering if you guys are kind of noticing that like new resurgence in like the music industry, and if you're getting more people being like, hey, this band kind of fucks.
It's definitely like really big right now, right? Like with the Noah Kahans of the world and like Zach Bryan. I mean, he's not really. I mean, he's country, but like kind of not really. At least to me. I mean, I think he writes dope. Like they'd be great Weezer songs if. Weezer songs, you know what I mean? Like he's a great songwriter, but yeah, I mean, I think we always I think we growing up in Illinois and just the kind of the music we listen to, so there's always like a little bit of twang in there. Like we grew up like listening to like Rainer Maria and Promise Ring, and that's kind of like the world what we grew up in. But at least I was like raised on like Bruce Springsteen and things like that, so it kind of that Eagles, that kind of stuff kind of seeped into it. So I think we made a cool record. I don't know, it's just kind of like in our DNA, so it's like hard to really think about it too much.
Was there like, because I think the victory records of it all and the fact that like it did come out in that this record came out in '06. Obviously, you guys have been around a little bit before that in 2001, and you had a record before this. Was there a lot of that like emo influence too? Was it like how did it become not just like a country band or like an all country band, but also having some of that like emo pop punk sort of vibe to it as well?
Yeah, I think like when the band first started, it was like almost more like that. The vision was maybe almost more like Cursive and Hot Water Music, because that's what I was like really into at the time, and also letting like Bright Eyes, like that whole like Saddle Creek scene in like the early 2000s. And then like kind of over time, as like some member changes and stuff, it's like then kind of became a little bit more pop, I guess you'd say, like more like Get Up Kids and Saves the Day, and like that was kind of a little more prominent in my life, and so that's just kind of how it happened. And then like kind of like I said, it's like with the all country part of it, it's like the Bruce Springsteen or Ryan Adams and like all those other things kind of is like actually what I listen to a lot as well, so it's just kind of like seeped its way in there, I guess. Yeah.
Just because of the delay, I'm only giving a second in case anybody else wants to add for their influences as well. Like,
I'd say we all kind of grew up listening to the same music, though, like rap, indie rap,
I mean, I grew up, I listened to a lot of like new wave bands when I was really young, and then a little bit of punk in there, and then when I was like in my early teens, I kind of got into to like new metal, I guess. I became a huge Deftones fan, and then kind of found my way back into like punk rock and stuff. And I was a big like Get Up Kids fan. I'm a big fan of Braid, Elliot. So those were like the emo bands who really impacted me, and so I kind of borrow a lot from them and their style, and they influenced my playing a lot. So, yeah.
Now we have this nostalgia reign coming back with just like emo, pop punk, and this like alternative scene in general. But what made you guys want to kind of come back and start to play like a little bit more shows again?
Well, yeah, it's tough because like we kind of like we stopped playing, but it's like just because life kind of got in the way, right? It's like we kind of like got jobs, and Tony went to school, and Shannon became a tattoo artist and running a shop and all that. So it's like, we put a record out in 2011, and then life kind of just happened. We had kids, or Shannon had a kid, I had a kid, and I don't know, life just happened. So it's just like hard to find time. We also like live all over the country, right? Like Shannon lives in Peoria, Tony's in St. Louis, I'm out in LA. So just like harder and harder to kind of get together. And I think kind of like with the pandemic and stuff, one, I had a lot of time, so just kind of like wrote a lot of songs. And yeah, so I think it was just kind of natural for us. We just kind of decided that we wanted to get back together and like just go play some music and have some fun. So we just kind of booked a studio for like a week, 2 weeks, and went out to New York with our buddy John Niclario and just kind of like banged out, was it 7 songs? 8 songs?
8 songs.
8 songs. Over that time, and just like, I don't think we ever think about ourselves as like breaking up or getting back together. We're just kind of like, we had the time to do it, and we did it, and
we enjoy doing it.
We enjoy doing it. Like, we like hanging out with each other. So any excuse to kind of get together and like play loud music and, we drink beers. It's great.
Talk every day, even when we weren't playing.
So, so I think that was kind of like the catalyst, like putting out this last record in January. And then, like with When We Were Young, they're just kind of, they're looking for bands. So we're like, oh, this fits in with what we're doing. And then we're at it, playing a couple more shows this fall as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's like vacation for us from our real life.
I think a lot of people think that bands like, you know, they break up, they don't talk anymore, they don't like each other, they don't keep up with each other. But it's like, I think that, I mean, when you get past like being like 17 in a band or 21 in a band and you're like, okay, we're adults, we have lives, and like the band never leaves like the back of your brain. It just is like, oh no, I just want to experience other stuff. And like, we've done the tours, we've done the music, we've put out the records, and like we'll come back to it if the timing is right. Like, I think it's, you know, sometimes it's not always like this big dramatic story like making behind the music. It's sometimes just like when the moment's right, like, you know, the fans are still there. The fans will always come back and go, oh man, I haven't seen them in years, and I'm so stoked that like there's new music and there's new shows and all that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Let's
Yeah,
say we can
this
kind of
is-
just do it when we have time to do it.
Yeah, this is
Gotta wave to each other.
as of this month. Sorry, I was just say as of this month. I think it's 20 years ago that I joined this band. So, you know, having a relationship that lasts 20 years, like, you know, if we didn't like totally love each other and consider each other family members at this point, then, you know, probably wouldn't be doing this, but we do.
That's
we can-
right.
Yeah.
We can promote the new record too here. Good Journey came out earlier this year. It's 8 songs, like you said. So what was kind of the influence behind that and the inspiration to make these songs? And how long had you been kind of sitting on them before you got together to go and put these onto record?
Man, well, I mean, like life kind of happened. I mean, we didn't put any songs out for 10 years, so we're like, oh, okay. A lot of, you know, life happens, which is good. Gives you something to, I guess, write about. Some of the songs, like, there's a song on there that me and John, who plays guitar for us now, I mean, we wrote one of those songs like probably 10 years ago. So it's just been kicking around, and we just like never like actually recorded it. So, you know, some of them, one song we wrote in the studio together. I had like a little idea. Tony had like an idea for like for the song Good Journey. He had like a great idea for like for a groove, and I had a guitar part that was like kind of worked for it, and we just like wrote that while we were in the studio. So it's kind of all over the place, you know. Like we probably had like 50 songs or demos, I'd say, of songs. So there's a lot still sitting around. We got to 8 of them. 8 that we were the most excited about at the time. So, yeah.
That's good, right? 8.
Yeah.
Honestly, like in streaming days, in the era of streaming, I feel like 8 is. I feel more like 30 minutes is about the average. So if it's 8, but they're like fills 30 minutes, you know, like then I'm fine with it. If it's like 12 songs, but it's like, oh, well, it took an hour. It's like, no, like my commute's not that
Yeah.
long, you know? I'm trying to have the
right.
whole experience, and I got to get it done before I get to work, you know?
I like that too.
Something
30-minute drive, baby.
Yeah, that's something I just saw that actually Bill Murray said, if we're talking about alt country, to Bill Murray, I guess. He's like, yeah, I cut songs from the record because I wanted it to be under 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, for you, though, you can make it longer. Bill Murray, you put out more. I don't care.
Yeah, I think there's this like new thing nowadays where, I mean, Brian used to joke around for the longest time that most new songs he'll listen to have to be like 2 minutes or like under 3 minutes at the very most. And I know now I have a lot of friends who are musicians, and they're asking me to like, oh, what do you as like a press person look for when you're like trying to like pick music or like cover it? And I'm like, honestly, unless it's like really 100% substantial, because there's so much music that's out there, I don't need it to be like 4 minutes long. Like 1 or 2 of them if they're really, really good, but not like necessarily like a minute. Like if I want that, I'm gonna listen to punk music because I know where I need to go for that. But I think it's just so new and different now, especially with bands that are maybe like used to having longer songs and then trying to kind of curtail it down to what like modern perspectives and like visions are for nowadays.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we think about it as like the shorter the better. Just cut the fluff. We don't need
Yes.
it. I don't know. As we've gotten older, the songs have gotten a lot shorter. That's funny.
We don't have enough time. Let's go.
Are you pro bridge or are you anti bridge in a song?
I'm super pro bridge.
I'm pro bridge.
I feel like growing up, like all my favorite songs, like always had kick-ass bridges. So I strive for that. I don't know that we always hit it, but strive for it.
I will. The meme about like the Taking Back Sunday bridges, like that was like, I think popular like a little while ago, like the best bridges in America, and it's just like the bridges of Taking Back Sunday songs. And I'm like, well, Taking Back Sunday did like all their songs were like 2 choruses, and then it'd be the bridge to out. And I'm like, that's the Taking Back Sunday like songwriting method, and it works so well because they never repeat that 3rd chorus, and you got to go back and listen to it again. But the bridge is also like really catchy, and you got to get to the bridge. Like it begs for repeating Taking Back Sunday songs over and over again. So there's room
Interesting.
for it.
I never thought about that. Okay.
When you sit around and you don't have a band, but you
Oh
think
my
about what
God.
kind of music you would write if you were in one, and then I have a band, and I'm like, hey guys, we got to write like this, and they're like, cool, I got this cool riff, and it's like, fuck, man, that's gonna be a bridge. I know it. I know it's gonna be a bridge. So pissed.
I think after playing together for 20 years too, we've kind of figured out what each of us are good at and kind of feed off of that as well.
Yeah.
Stick to what we know.
It's like it's a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, which sometimes is good, especially
Yeah.
when you have it down to a science with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to on the Taking Back Sunday note that like what I said in our review of Shadow 2 Gunman was that like the dual singing on that record and like the dual singing of the Forecast in general is so goddamn good, and your vocals like match up so well, and I'm like, everything that everybody
you.
likes about Taking Back Sunday is like the Forecast was doing it at such a like equal or better level. And I'm like, holy shit, we all gave too much to them. I'm thinking about 2024 Taking Back Sunday a little bit. And I'm like, damn. At the time, of course, everybody was doing, the dual singing and having 2 singers singing different parts, and like that back and forth was incredible and game changing at the moment. But I'm like, yeah, the like hearing your guys' vocals together, I was like, the notes that Shannon's hitting and the notes that Dustin's doing and like how it's intermingling is like unique and special, and it's one of the things I like the most about it. I realize I'm not really asking a question. I'm just complimenting you on a record from 06, but I'm going to do it.
I appreciate it. It's so funny with that record because that's the record before that, Late Night Conversations. Tony and Shannon and Matt had just joined the band. We kind of like wrote the record and then went and recorded it like a month later. And Shannon never sung in the studio before. I had never really sung in the studio. So like we definitely like didn't know how to sing together or anything. And if you go back and listen to that record, you're like, wow, this is like watching a band with training wheels. And I feel like when we got to Gunman and started working with John DeClario, and he's done like all of our records since then, like he's kind of like the 5th member of the band at this point, but he worked us, or he made us work really hard on it. And I think, it just kind of like, we learned how to sing on that record and how to sing together and like how parts fit. We'd like work all day in the studio, then go back to the hotel and like rework out the parts and all that, and just kind of like learn to actually sing with each other, not just like each singing independently. And so, yeah, I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of that part of the record.
I am too. John would definitely force us. Like, you can hit that, just sing it. I'd be like,
Yeah, like the notes she hits on all we all return to our roots. It's like it's a crazy high note.
It's also wild that
Yeah.
20 years later, I still am trying to hit that note, I guess, but it's very high.
Yeah, But so thank you for that. We
Appreciate
worked
it.
very hard on that record, and I feel like it paid off, at least for us.
Like Tony was trying to tell us earlier how some really bad critic in Dallas reviewed him and he switched to using one pedal instead of two. Maybe we use bullying in the correct way and then you can hit that note.
Yeah, he's bullying you to sing higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely stopped reading reviews after that, you know, because it was just like, what's the point? You know, I'm the one out here doing it and kind of putting myself out there, and there's some keyboard dude saying that my voice sucks and I don't know how to play a bass, which is fine, but I'm just gonna keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. Like, well, first of all, I'll comment that like the problem of writing songs when you're 16 too is that like all of a sudden you have to sing them when you're, you know, not 16 anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's funny because all these bands are coming back now and it's like, shit, man. I saw the Starting Line like years ago and he was like, fuck, man, I wrote all these songs when I was 16. This is so dumb. I can't do this anymore. And as somebody
I
who's
think-
like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think if I could go back in time to my 21-year-old self, I would say just because you can doesn't mean you should, as far as some of those notes. But I think we're nailing it.
Yeah.
I hope you guys catch us. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we will. We are waiting for a show to come through Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, we are in the, you know, majority of us are in the same state or close to the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
So
I think when, depending on when this comes out, but we have some shows in the works for November in Chicago.
There we go. There we go.
So-
yeah.
I'm like, we're just waiting. We're gonna see the When We Were Young set, obviously. Like we're gonna be at.
But
you
it
know,
would
at
be
the
nice
show.
to probably have like more
It's
of
a
a
different thing.
closed
exactly.
space and everything to experience it differently.
Yeah.
Now-
You got. Well, I mean, club sets are always more fun
Oh yeah, in
than
general.
Yeah.
fest sets. Yeah. You've done a couple of the emo fests now. You've done like the Is for Lovers Fest. You're doing this in later this year. And obviously that we mentioned Victory Records earlier. Like, where do you guys feel like you fit into that emo scene, that like emo pop punk Warped Tour kind of scene? Like in the time that it's been since then, and all the ways that it's changed and grown. Like, what do you feel like your legacy is for the Forecast in that realm? Can you tell me your entire legacy right now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's like we're always kind of like to me, we're kind of like always like an outlier of that world. Like we never really fit in with like the Warped Tour. We never did Warped Tour. We really kind of fit into that world. Like, you know, I think we kind of probably saw ourselves more in the like hot rod circuit, Get Up Kids world, Limbeck, like some of those bands that we toured with. We would tour with Motion City Soundtrack, which was a great tour. It was really fun. That's probably like the closest to like the true pop punk scene that we really ever did touring wise. But yeah, I don't know. I think we kind of always consider ourselves maybe a little bit more on the indier side of the pop punk world, for better or for worse. I don't know. But yeah. I have no idea what our legacy is. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
20
We'll
years
be that
later.
band that's like, oh my God, they're still playing. We'll be 80 up there rocking
Like
together.
they just needed an excuse to hang out and drink some Pacificos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Nelson makes a mean margarita, by the
I
way.
do.
Oh,
I do make
a mark.
make a mean margarita.
All
All
right.
right.
So
When we come through Chicago,
yeah,
I'll fire up some margaritas. It'll be great.
bartending.
There we go. That'll be like the specialty drink of the night or whatever venue you end up playing. You're gonna
Yeah.
be like, we have this weird request that we don't really get from bands, and you're gonna be like, no, trust me.
Yeah.
Dustin's bartending.
I'll
He's
bartend,
making
let's
everybody
go.
margaritas.
Hey guys, you want a beer? Absolutely not. Everyone's getting a margarita in this.
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
One
We're-
option.
I'll tell you what, we'll sound great that night to everybody.
We sound incredible,
figured
guys.
it out.
We figured it out.
Uh-oh.
Let's get everybody.
Listen, all
laughing.
those reviews are going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Beautiful.
All right. Thank you for helping us figure this out. Our whole new marketing plan is going to go into effect.
What is the most emo song you are listening to right now? Looking up Spotify.
Spotify, real quick. Go ahead, Tony. Take it away.
To be honest, I'm not listening to a lot of emo right now. I'm listening to mostly shoegaze. So lately I've been listening to Wisp, and Enough for You by Wisp is awesome. It's a song that goes real hard and real deep emotionally. So I love Wisp. I think Wisp is a fantastic band.
Go ahead, you go.
Oh, I cannot stop listening to Chapel Roan.
Seriously.
Oh my God, me and my other friends finally got Brian to listen to Chapel Roan. Now he gets it.
I've been spreading the gospel. I get it. It's so good.
It's so goddamn good.
It's like it's not emo, but isn't it?
I would say my kink is karma. That is such an emo song, and it's so damn good.
Yeah, it is.
That's my emo song right now.
I don't even want to go now. You just remember the Chapel Roan, so there you go. We're good.
That's what's gonna get the kids in to listen to the forecast.
Of my probably most emo stuff I'm listening to right now is the new Weatherbox song Mansion Dust. I think is really cool, and been listening to Petey
Love Petey
a lot lately.
Love Petey.
Yeah.
Also from Chicago or the suburbs.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's from around there.
The
Audio Tree session is like maybe one of the best sounding Audio Tree sessions I've heard. It's very good.
I've only seen clips of Freedom to Fuck Off. But I was like, oh, this sounds really good. I have to eventually watch this, and just have never gotten around to it yet. But love
title.
Petey. Love Petey's music. I'm like Midwest emo king out of nowhere.
Now, when will we get the forecast Audio Tree session?
Yeah, we need a forecast Audio
question.
Tree session now.
All right, we'll get back to you on that.
There we go.
I think you can just do it. Like
Just walk into the Audio Tree space. Hey, I'm
like
in this
that
band.
space, or at least like one of the spaces
Or
in
here?
Chicago. Like you can just rent out on your own and record it. So
There we go.
just hire someone to
Forecast
film it
tree.
and record it.
To our own.
Forecast.
I mean,
tree.
I know where it's at, so I can be like, guys, this is what it is. Just knock on the door.
I mean, you could book it.
you know, but
available to
listen.
You don't have to break in. You
But
can
that's
just
not
book
an
the space.
exciting way to get this.
It's true.
Forecast tree session was illegal. A crime was committed.
That's what makes it punk.
Sounds amazing.
Anyway, what was the inspiration for Good Journey?
The song or the
Record.
record?
The
I guess we'll
record.
say the record.
Yeah, the record.
I don't know. I think it's just like, I guess like, inspiration is just kind of like the life that we have all, all the things that kind of happened within our collective lives since the last record came out. I guess it's been a good journey.
I mean, that's a quick answer.
Yeah.
All right. This question can be about Peoria or Chicago. I assume maybe Peoria would be more like close to your hearts. What is the music scene like in the city where you're from?
Back in Peoria right now, I think it died off for a little while, but I see a lot of younger kids kind of starting it back up, playing shows again, which is awesome. Because we used to play in like VFW halls when we started out in Peoria. There wasn't really too many venues to play around town, but I think a lot of local people are starting to open up smaller places for kids to kind of show up and play music. It's awesome.
I feel like guitars are kind of coming back
Yeah.
in general. I feel like little rock bands, punk bands, like kids are like starting to figure it out again, which I think is awesome.
What kind of venues are there any bands or venues you want to shout out from the area? Because I've realized I was trying to think of any venues that I know from the area, and I'm like, oh, those are all from like Galesburg and shit. So those are not from Peoria at all.
We played with Terribly Happy, Glittermouth, for our last show that we did last
Yeah.
October.
Both those
or
bands kick ass.
August. But yeah, they're both awesome bands.
Why was Phone Tag chosen as the single from the album?
I guess Phone Tag was chosen as a single because it's my favorite song on the record. Or one of my favorite songs on the record. That's why.
That's how we pick them.
And yeah, I just really like that song. That song's about my buddy Garrett who passed away, and so it means a lot to me. And I think it came out great. Ever since I wrote that song, I've really loved it, and I'm stoked at it the way they came out.
I love that song.
And it's really fun to play.
It is very fun to play.
This next song,
This
sorry,
next song?
not
Wow,
next
that's
song.
so crazy.
What's the next
This
song?
next song.
This next song is called this question. What type of collab would you like to do, and with who? So it could be producer, it could be Chapel Roan, it could be whatever makes the most sense. But you're back in the emo scene now. Is there anybody in the emo scene, or like you can do whatever you want with anybody?
It's a very difficult question.
Tony, this is all you, buddy. You always have good ideas.
He's not really like, I don't think he's really in the emo scene, but I would absolutely love to collab with Chino Marino from the Deftones just to make my childhood dreams come true. But he would be one. But honestly, I think that any collaboration that we could do with either the Get Up Kids or some other band that we were really influenced by would always be awesome for us. We've had a pretty good streak of featuring a lot of our fans, or not fans, a lot of our friends over the years in a lot of our songs. We did a song on our self-titled album where we had Jeff from Thursday come in and sing on the bridge. We've done songs where we've had the guys from Planes Mistaken for Stars sing on the outro of the song. So I think that's probably more feasible. But I, as a lifelong Deftones fan and big fan of Chino Marino, I think it'd be really cool to collab with him.
That's something that Chino has not really experimented with. Is more like country or like indie style. He's sort of stayed in that like Deftones like sort of heavy music or like crosses, but he's never really come over to like a lot of other genres outside of like what he's mostly comfortable with. And I'm like, it'd be interesting to hear him on something else that's like not Deftones related.
And I think that he would be keen to do it because, like, as an artist, he's never stopped exploring and he's never stopped pushing boundaries. I mean, even like in the Deftones, like when people try to box them in as like a new metal band, they're just so much more than that, and they've always been so much more than that. Incorporating elements of shoegaze and even punk. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of opportunity there that would be really interesting and fun for me personally, but I don't know. The other guys I would have to maybe talk to about that.
Chino's coming.
I get down with that. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. Like my true inspiration for this band was Rainer Maria. That's kind of like in high school. That's like I got their record and was like, oh my god, I love this band. So I think it'd be really rad to do a song with Kaylin and have Kaylin and Shannon sing together. I think that would be dope.
That'd be insane.
I don't know why I've never thought about that till right now. Probably hit her up on Instagram.
I actually made her take a photo booth picture with me. Was that at the Echo in LA?
Yeah.
I was like, I love your band. Will you hop in the photo booth with me? And I'm sure she's like, I guess so. She was very sweet.
She was like, what happened to just like a quick selfie? But I guess we'll do the photo booth.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. Let me get a $5 bill from the bar and
Yes.
then I'll cut.
Yes. That's way better. That's way more of like the story than just like I snapped a selfie,
I actually found the the picture. There's like 3 different photos of us. It's pretty funny. I found it the other night. I was like, oh my god, why did I do that?
I also like we've asked this question to a few artists, and what I think might be something a lot of bands have not said. I'm like doing a split record again, because I don't feel like a lot of bands are doing split records now in 2024 in the same way they did like in the early 2000s and all that. Is there anybody like of these bands you're saying like, would you do a split record with them and be like, let's feature on the song, but then also like, you know, let me make you a good song for this split record, and then you got to listen to it, and now I love you.
If I could have my way, we'd do a split with the Anniversary or Hot Rod Circuit. One, because they used to do lots of 7-inch splits, which is cool. And 2, I love both those bands. And again, we could probably just shoot them a note and try and figure this out.
Yep.
Limbeck would be fun.
Great
too.
idea. Limbeck would be great, yeah.
Yep.
We toured with them. We love those guys.
I would like to do a Small Brown Bike Casket Lottery style split with the Get Up Kids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
where they write a song and we sing on it, and then we write a song and they sing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I think the only bands recently that I think have done something similar-ish to that are on like the Wax Bodega like record label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen a lot otherwise. It's been a hot second.
Yeah. It's obviously something that a lot of small bands do, but I'm like, dude, big bands could do it and it'd be awesome. It'd be rad as hell.
Yeah.
All right. Then our last question for you guys for these 6 questions we got for you. Can you tell us about your upcoming tour dates or any shows that you have coming up?
Let's see, we're playing September in New York and Buffalo or outside Buffalo with our buddies in Down to Earth Approach. It's like their 20-year anniversary, and we used to tour with them a lot back in the day. So going to go out and play a show out there with them. We have When We Were Young, and we have like 4 or 5 shows in the Midwest for November. And if this comes out after they're announced, they're with Spitalfield, and if it comes out before, then cut this part out.
Well, don't tell them.
Wow.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our friend Mark Rose.
Yeah, so we're gonna do Milwaukee, Chicago, St. Louis, and Peoria.
Perfect.
So like 1 weekend. Yeah, should be fun. And then I don't know what else we're gonna do. That's all we have as of right now.
Is it kind of just like as you feel like it, or as you?
Yeah, that's really it. It's like just kind of like as we have time. Like we're both. Shannon's opening a new tattoo shop that opens up in a month. So like she's been very busy. Tony's busy working. I'm working all the time. So just trying to do as much as we can with the time that we have.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
I think as fans, you know, we're always looking at like, why are you doing this if you're not touring? The band is coming back. The band is doing this stuff because you want to like go out and do the tour. You want to make the money. You want to, you know, do all the business side of it and all that. I'm very interested in more of like bands that are like, we exist. We make the music that we love to make. We get to play the shows we want to play. We get to do the parts of it that we really enjoy, and we can kind of ignore all the other shit we don't want to do. Like, you know, as you get more like integrated into the scene, and you kind of just be like, okay, I've done the things I wanted to do. Now it's all the fun stuff. Like, would you say you're more at that phase of it versus like we have to go and make all the money, we have to go and like meet all the fans and all that shit?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just like I want to do things that are fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. I think that's kind of like my approach in life at this point. You know, I'm 40. I just want to do fun. I just want to do fun shit. I want to do dope shit.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. So like, you know, we to me, like playing shows that like we kind of do that for us, and hopefully some people show up and want to have a good time. But again, it goes back to the like, I don't know. We just want an excuse to get together. Maybe somebody will give us some free beer. Dope.
Yep.
And, you know, I can make margaritas for everybody.
Yes.
I think that's really like, that's all we're really trying to do here. And if some people show up and have a good time, then I love that. But, you know, we kind of do it for ourselves at this point and to have fun. Like, I don't really think there's any like, you know, golden balloon out there for us. Like we were never that band. It's never really about the money. I don't think anybody's,
No, we were
it's
never.
not like, that's just not something that I don't think that we think about that at all, so yeah, we'll play for free beer.
Yeah, free beer and hanging out with our friends.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about, at least for me.
No, I think that's the wave of the future. I think that like bands should be more fun. They should just be like looking to have as much fun as possible doing as I always say, like I just want to do dope shit with my friends and hang out and have a good time, just like you said. But also just like, that community comes from the excitement around the band being passionate and having that emotion around the music that they make and the people that are there with them. And it doesn't have to be like we've made every fan. It's like, no, we've made like strong fans. We've made like long lasting fans. We've made incredible people. We've met incredible people. We've hung out with other cool bands. And then we just like get to go do the fun shit. And it's not about all the other pieces of it.
I'm just seeing like too many bands that like kind of like, get together and like do like reunion shows or whatever and play, and you can like tell when they're not having fun. Almost like it's about business. You're like, I don't know. I'm out here as a fan trying to like relive like seeing you guys in like some dingy ass punk club or whatever, and like connecting with it. And like now it just feels like you don't believe anything that you're doing or having any fun. Like that sucks. So like I don't ever want to like give anybody that. Like if I ever got to that point, I just wouldn't do it anymore. I'd still make the margaritas, but I wouldn't play the show.
I feel like we're gonna have to make a shirt about your
Yeah, I was about to
margaritas.
In the shadow of two margaritas.
Yeah.
Trying to get that business going, you know what I
You'll
mean?
be like, guys, put it up, but your hands are
Trying
just
to open a bar
margaritas.
called Tractors and shit. It hasn't happened yet, but maybe this will be the catalyst.
We've been talking about that for probably 20 years, actually.
Tractors and shit will live one day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Well, we can do a little bit of plugs here, like where everybody can find you on the internet, where they can support you, where they can buy the inevitable Shadow of Margaritas shirt.
That's right.
Let's say that this does come out after the shows have been announced. You can say where to go and find out more about those shows too. We'll assume that it's coming out after that.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're going to announce them probably in the next month or so.
Okay.
Tony, why don't you do the where all of our social stuff is? What's our website? theforecastband.com?
Yes, you can find us on the World Wide Web at theforecastband.com. We are also on Instagram at theforecastband, and we are on TikTok at theforecastband, and we also have a Facebook page. I don't know what the URL is, but you can find us by searching for The Forecast.
Yeah.
Band.
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 Confused weather stuff,
Yeah,
you know?
we really didn't think that through.
I know. I was like researching earlier, put the forecast, and I was like, oh, I got to put in band because it's like, oh, look, it's actually telling me what's happening in Chicago in 3 days weather-wise. That's not what I want right now.
Yeah.
What really killed us for a little while was the format, because the format record came out right as the forecast record came out.
They're from Peoria, Arizona.
And they're from
aren't they?
Peoria, Arizona.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There can only be
Yeah.
one Peoria, and it's ours.
Yeah.
I like to believe that they had just as many kids show up to their shows and be like, "Oh, I thought you were the forecast. You're the format." Because boy, we had a few who show up and we're like, "You guys don't sound like the format. I fucked this up."
Oh,
There you go.
There was a
Thank you,
meme
Nate
that
and
was
Zach.
there was a meme that was going around a while ago that was like I wasn't thinking about SEO when I was naming my band. I was just trying to write songs. Like none of these bands
Exactly.
thought about it. We just wrote good songs.
I didn't think even SEO existed when a good majority of these bands were around, if we're being honest.
There's a lot less stuff going on. The Rolling Stones were the only ones. The magazine came later, I guess. I don't know. I'm not
It
really
did.
looking at that timeline. I don't really care about that timeline, I suppose. Well, I'm going to say again, thank you guys so much for giving us your time. for hanging out with us. Like I said, I just had to message you and say we would love to hang out and chat because since listening to the record, we just become massive fans. I've been telling everybody because people are like, "Hey, what's like the favorite record you've listened to so far?" And I'm like, "Well, I've listened to like all of like records I grew up listening to by like The Used and My Chem, but you need to check out this Forecast record because this band is awesome and this record is so good." So I
Really
will do
appreciate
whatever
it.
I can to spread the message of the Forecast in 2024 to make up for all the time that I spent not doing it for the last 20 years.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. This was really fun.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.